afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is August 1st, 2012. This is the Texan TV News from the campus of Tarleton State University, and I'm Lucy Pound. In today's headlines, campus surveillance leaves questions among students, document security breach at Tarleton, second session of Duck Camp begins, Granbury native becomes Olympic world record holder, economic tips for incoming freshmen, and now today's top story. Do you ever get the feeling you're being watched? If you are on Tarleton's campus, you are. The university is installing a number of new surveillance cameras on campus this summer, but it's not yet clear who's watching movement on campus or why. Texan TV News took a walk around campus to investigate the whereabouts of these on-campus surveillance cameras. On the hunt, they found 16 surveillance cameras on campus, 2 at Tarleton Memorial Stadium, 1 at Davis Hall, 1 at the O.A. Grant Building, 1 at the library, 1 at the Fine Arts Building, 1 at the Science Building, 2 at the New Nursing Building, 1 at Legacy Hall, 1 at Goff Hall, 1 at Honeywell, 1 at Bender, 1 at the Alumni Center, 1 at the Computer Help Desk, and 1 at the New Welcome Center. The Texan TV News asked Tarleton students Katie Rowlands and Di McCollum about their reaction to the surveillance cameras on campus.
I don't mind the surveillance cameras. I like them to have at night, but as long as they're not in my bathroom, then I'm okay. But yeah, I would like to know who's watching me though. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was computer surveillance cameras on campus. I think that they should have notified all the students on campus that if they were going to be doing it, letting us know who was going to be watching us, because it's very technological these days and anybody can just get onto there and mess with it, find people,
Students were also given an opportunity to voice their opinions on Facebook, where Tarleton senior Hannah Clary sounded off by saying, "I would like to know. I think it's all right to see who is watching us and where they're watching us at." Tarleton Police Chief Justin Williams and Assistant Vice President of Marketing and Communications Janice Horrock did not respond to an email about the cameras last week. Williams' office said he was out of town this week until Monday. The university also has not yet responded to an open records request for information about the cameras and says they will respond to the request tomorrow. Stay tuned for an update on this issue as information arises. In Tarleton news, Tarleton is continuing to investigate an incident Tuesday in which financial aid documents containing former 1997 to 98 students' information, including social security numbers, were scattered across Lillian Street while being transported to an undisclosed location. Janice Horrock, Tarleton's Assistant Vice President for Marketing and Communication, issued a statement saying that all retrievable documents have been secured. It is not clear whether the university knows the identity of all students whose identifying information was compromised or if any documents were lost. Duck Camp is starting its second season on Friday. Noel Levitz, a consulting firm for Tarleton, recommended the cancellation, but there was no plan to let go of this tradition. According to Mike Barnett, a coordinator for summer transitions and family relations, said the conversation about the camp was only about if Duck Camp was living up to its full potential. To ensure more incoming freshmen experience this tradition, Duck Camp has made some changes to improve the quality of student experience. Kaylee Carlisle, a junior and summer transition coordinator, reported on the changes. "There are 3 sessions instead of 2 this year. This is a big deal so we can reach more freshmen," said Carlisle. There are 1,700 incoming freshmen to Tarleton, and according to Carlisle and Chance Serta, another summer transition coordinator, this session of Duck Camp is the largest number of freshmen Tarleton has ever seen, with a total of 1,100 students attending. One of the main changes to Duck Camp was to make the camp seem more comfortable and intimate.
We are very excited about the Duck Camp program this year. We've made some changes, some more significant than others. For starters, we have 3 camps this year as opposed to 2 like we've had in the past. And so, for example, last year we took somewhere between 700 and 750 incoming freshmen to camp. between our two camps, and now having 3 camps, as of today, and registration is not even completely closed, we're taking over 1,100 students that represent the class of 2016 to our Duck Camp program. And so we're really excited about how that opportunity is going to be available to more students. And one of the big changes we've tried to make apparent at orientation is that it's not a matter of, hey, are you going to Duck Camp? It's, have you signed up for Duck Camp yet? We want to make it seem like very much a part of your transition experience in Tarleton. And I think we've accomplished that because our numbers are at a record high. And in addition, when it comes to the program itself, we have really focused on making sure that it's a very comfortable environment for students. And overall, we just have made a very concerted effort as a staff to make sure that it's not an environment that would make anyone feel intimidated, uncomfortable, and because of that, I think we have a more effective program and one that students come away from feeling like they really have formed some close relationships with other members of the Tarleton family.
There will also be an assessment that each camper will complete called a Strengths Quest. Instead of the usual assessment test that points out weaknesses, this focuses on each student's top 5 strengths. There are some parts of the test associated with Duck Camp, and everyone is to fill it out before the fall semester, so each incoming student can learn a little bit more about themselves before entering college. The 2012 Olympics has been a main staple across news headlines, but the spotlight is on one athlete in particular. Congratulations to Dana Vollmer of Granbury for her world record-breaking win at the 2012 Olympics in London on Sunday night. The Granbury native solidified her place in the record books by swimming the 100-meter butterfly in 55.98 seconds, being the first woman ever to swim sub-56 seconds in the event. She also broke an Olympic record in her preliminary heat with a time of 56.25 seconds. Vollmer's involvement with the Olympics began at the age of 12, where she swam at the 2000 Olympic trials, being the youngest competitor in the field. Failing to make the team, she would return to make an appearance at the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens, where she grabbed a gold medal in the 4x200-meter freestyle relay. She and her teammates broke a world record that stood tall for 17 years. Her recent victory at the 2012 Olympic Games signified a comeback as Vollmer failed to qualify at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. Being a former member of the Fort Worth area swim team, also known as FAST, Vollmer is receiving an enormous amount of supporters, not only in Granbury, but in the DFW Metroplex as well. In celebration of Vollmer's achievements at this year's Olympic Games, the mayor of Granbury, Ricky Pratt, has announced that August 4th and 5th will be Dana Vollmer Free Swim Weekend at the Swim Center, which is named in honor of the Olympian. The celebration will be during the normal pool hours and is open to all Hood County residents. Continue to watch Vollmer and her USA teammates at the 2012 Olympics to see if more records will be broken. A thriving college town, Stephenville and its economy has stood its ground and even flourished in hard times thanks to its college town roots. Last year, the incoming freshman class set a record for the most incoming freshmen in Tarleton State University's history. This has not only benefited the school, but the town as a whole. This year's freshman class is larger, breaking last year's record. Jobs and money are plentiful, just slightly hard to get due to the high number of students and limited number of businesses. Texan News interviewed local students who offer ideas and tips for getting the sought-after jobs.
I would say for the most part, compared to the rest of the country, that the economy in Stephenville is actually doing really well. I have family up in Washington, and there a lot of prices for things are a lot higher, and the job availability is a lot lower. So I would say for the rest of the country, you're doing really good right now. I think for a college kid, it's going to be hard to find a job just because there's so many of us and the town isn't that big. But I guess just if you're persistent in finding a job, you're doing pretty good. When I was looking, probably I would say a month or two to find a job. I feel like a lot of business owners are more apt to pay attention to you if you look prepared and make a point to talk to the business owner instead of just leaving an application somewhere.
Yeah, and don't let them know that you're applying everywhere, because then that looks bad. It looks like you just want a job instead of like wanting their job.
But the turnover rate for kids leaving and come in and everything like that. It's a pretty good opportunity to find a job.
And now, news from the Associated Press. The easy victory of Houston lawyer Ted Cruz in the Republican U.S. Senate runoff in Texas shows the Tea Party movement remains a potent force in American politics. It also highlights an anti-establishment frustration among voters, especially grassroots conservative activists, which could influence national elections in November. Cruz, a Tea Party favorite, defeated Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst by 13 points Tuesday, even though most of the Texas GOP establishment, including Governor Rick Perry, backed Dewhurst. Cruz, 41, a former state solicitor general and son of a Cuban immigrant father, faces Democratic State Representative Paul Sadler in November's general election to replace retiring Republican Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson. But Texas hasn't elected a Democrat to statewide office in nearly 2 decades, and it's widely assumed Cruz will win. In U.S. news, Chick-fil-A supporters are rallying behind the company following criticism about an executive who took a public position against same-sex marriage. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, a Baptist minister, declared Wednesday Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day. A spokeswoman for the Reverend Billy Graham says the 93-year-old evangelist ate a Chick-fil-A lunch, including a chicken sandwich and waffle fries at his North Carolina home. Chick-fil-A President Dan Cathy told the Baptist Press last month that the Atlanta-based company was guilty as charged for backing the biblical definition of a family. Gay rights groups and others answered with calls for boycotts. Opponents of Cathy's stance have planned Kiss More Chicks for Friday, asking people of the same sex to show up at Chick-fil-A locations and kiss each other. In world news, al-Qaeda gunmen killed 4 soldiers Wednesday in one of the militants' former South Yemen strongholds, officials said. The local governor declared that the country's ill-equipped police force is incapable of filling the security void left by months of clashes. The militants staged a bold pre-dawn attack on a security building in Jar, one of several cities that they captured in 2011 while taking advantage of a popular uprising in the impoverished Arabian Peninsula nation. Witnesses said men stormed the building with automatic rifles. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity in line with regulations. The Army recaptured Jar in June after a 2-month offensive backed by U.S. advisors, but many militants fled to nearby mountains and continue to launch attacks there and elsewhere in the Abyan province. Wednesday's attack came as the Defense Ministry announced it was redeploying thousands of troops to the south to prevent al-Qaeda from retaking lost territory. Yemen's ongoing power struggle also undercuts the security forces' capabilities. The day before the attack, the headquarters of the Interior Ministry, which manages the police, was ransacked in the capital, Sana'a, in a bloody takeover by policemen loyal to the country's ousted leader, Ali Abdullah Saleh, who stepped down 6 months ago. At least 15 people were killed and 43 wounded in the attack, officials said. In sports, Indonesia's Olympic team leader says 8 female badminton doubles players have been disqualified from the London Games after trying to lose matches to receive a more favorable place in the field. Eric Thohir tells the Associated Press on Wednesday that the Indonesian team will appeal. The Badminton World Federation investigated 2 teams from South Korea and 1 each from China and Indonesia. It accused them of not using one's best efforts to win a match and conducting oneself in a manner that is clearly abusive or detrimental to the sport in matches Tuesday night. Today's weather is sunny and hitting 102 degrees with 40% humidity. Today's broadcast was produced by Kylie Woodman, Matt Lennox, Jenny Klein, and Travion Davis. The engineer was Matthew Mills. Photographs for today's broadcast came from Lucy Pound and NBC News. Videos provided by Lucy Pound, Kylie Woodman, and Matt Lennox. You can follow us on ustream.tv/user/Texan News Service. Don't forget to tell your friends about us and become a fan of Texan TV News on Facebook. I'm Lucy Pound. Tune in Wednesdays for the latest news from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas.